hope you're doing well and that your first week of everything moving online wasn't too crazy. I know it was crazy, it was certainly for me, but I hope you're feeling okay with everything and I hope you're feeling healthy. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. This Wednesday, during our class time, but then also a few other times during the day that I'll post about, I am going to be logged on to Zoom and I will be available for virtual office hours. So you will be, well, you're welcome to just log on, ask questions. I can help you practice. You can just say, hey, whatever is needed. So I've been checking in with other teachers to see how they've been approaching that, and that seems to work pretty well, the virtual office hours. I'm happy to meet with you at a different time if it doesn't work for you, but I think most of us have some time these days, so let me know. So we're actually going to cover everything today that's due next Monday, because on Wednesday we're going to talk about your final project and also do something fun, do another pop song. Okay, so today this is everything you need to know for next Monday's requirements. So first, if you turn to page 149, now we've talked a lot, especially last week, but previously as well, about how to build major 5-finger patterns and major chords, whole, whole, half, whole. And this week we're going to talk about minor chords. Now, at the bottom of 149, they show you how to take a major 5-finger pattern and make it minor. The good news is only one note changes, and only one note changes in the chord as well. So please look at the bottom of page 149. They show you a D major 5-finger pattern, which is D, thumb on D if you're using right hand, E, F sharp, G, A. White, white, black, white, white. And out of that 5-finger pattern, I get a D major chord. 1, 3, and 5. Okay, so that should be review. That's consistent with the chart that we did last week. Now, if we want to make this a minor 5-finger pattern and get a minor chord, you take the middle note, which is an F sharp in this case, and you lower it a half step. So F sharp goes down to F. That's a D minor chord. You notice that minor sounds kind of sad or mysterious. Now that pattern of whole and half steps is whole, half, whole, whole. I think it's not super helpful to have just another trick bouncing around in your head. What I would suggest for now is, because we've really drilled in the major pattern, find the major and then just lower your 3rd finger. So as you're memorizing chords, for instance, C major chord, I know is white, white, white. So to make that minor, I take my 3rd note, E, and lower it to E flat, C minor. How about G? G is another white, white, white major chord. G major, take the middle note and lower it to B flat, G minor. It works for all of the chords. So you may try, this isn't going to be graded, but if you go back to page 144 and 145, I think a really good way of practicing would be to play each of the major chords and then lower the 3rd. So really quick, looking at some of the trickier ones like C sharp major, C sharp, E sharp, G sharp. To make that minor, a half step down from E sharp is just plain old E. So remember that a half step is one key to the very next. It can be a black key, it can be a white key, but I think continuing to work on memorizing these chords and then just knowing that the middle note is down 1 half step to make it minor. Okay? So as far as your assignment is concerned, I'd like you to go to page 159. This is very similar to last week. But all I want you to do is play the top group, the top system. So you'll still do both hands, but only do the top group. So C minor, D flat minor, D minor, E flat minor, E minor, F minor. So what you're going to do is you're going to just play each of these chords for me. So C minor is C, E flat, G. And I can see that on the page. I see C, and then E has a flat in front of it, and G. That's also consistent with what we just did. We know C major is all white keys, and when you lower the middle, it becomes minor. This is all connected. This is just another way of looking at the chords. So you would just say C minor and play it. Now, D flat minor. This is one to watch out for. You see 3 flats, D flat, F flat, A flat. D flat isn't so hard to find. F flat is the same as E. D flat, F flat, A flat. So maybe make a note. This is the only one in your assignment where the middle note is like a flat white key. So D flat, F flat, A flat. D minor is all white keys. E flat minor, black, black, black. E minor, white, white, white. F minor, F, A flat, C, white, black, white. So you might have been listening right now and looking down at your hands and thinking, oh, what, that's so much information. All I was doing was reading exactly what's on the page at the top. So for your assignment, I want you to do just that. You say the chord and then you play the chord, okay? Now if you're having trouble finding these, you can always name the notes, but also like I said, you can go back. Unfortunately, there's not a handy chart like this for the minors. You can go back to page 144 and say, D flat minor, ugh. What did D flat major look like? Okay, move the middle down half step. So feel free to go back and forth and reference. For your recording, I'm expecting you to be able to go through with relative confidence, but that's a good way to practice. Please reach out if you have questions, okay? Next thing is a small song, page 162, Pyramids Afar. So we're going to use some of these chords and turn it into a song. Now, you get to take a break from thinking about major and minor, and you just play what's on the page. Now, as I'm scanning through, I see that the right hand plays all chords. I see 3 notes stacked like a snowman. That tells me it's a chord. I also notice that there are no flats until the very end, measure 14, the last line, second measure. So my right hand just plays white, 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 all the way through until measure 14. You might want to take a pencil and name those notes in measure 14. I see D flat, F, A flat. What I would do is write either above or next to it, it's D flat major. D flat major. And if you're having trouble finding that, you have D flat major written, go to page 144, find D flat major, and you know what to do. Okay? Now, one trick of the trade, we know that these are all chords stacked like a snowman. So it is not necessary for you to name every single note in every single chord. We start in C major. Right hand plays middle C, E, and G. What I do is I track the bottom note. I see that the bottom note in measure 1 is C. Then I see that the bottom note in measure 2 is D. I move my hand up. Then I see that the bottom note in measure 3 is E. So I'm keeping that chord shape 1, 3, 5 in my hand, and I'm reading the bottom note. Now it's not wrong or bad to sit there and name every single note, but it's just not necessary. You're going to be moving your hand like this, keeping it in place, and just transporting your hand from one chord to the next. So I'm going to go ahead and play through all the right hand and say the bottom root note. The root of the chord is the bottom note of the chord, all the way through. Okay, so I start on C major. C, 2, 3, 4. D minor, 2, 3, 4. E minor, 2, 3, 4. Back to C, 2, 3. Second line, C again. C, 2, 3, 4. D minor, 2, 3, 4. E minor, 2, 3, 4. Back to C. Now, all the way up to G. G, 2, 3, down to F, 2, 3, up to A, 2, 3, 4, to G. 2, 3. Now last line, down to C. Here's our D flat chord. 2, 3, 4. E. So I'm reading the bottom note name and moving my hand. If that concept isn't clicking, please reach out. I would be so happy to do a Zoom. When we do Zoom, I can take my phone and put it over the keyboard like this and show you, okay? But hopefully that is working. In measure 7, you see an accent mark. That just tells us that we play that chord stronger than all the others. We use a little more force. Now let's look at the left hand. This would be a good time to take out your pencil and write in some fingering. Oh, sorry, write in some counting. I don't see any eighth notes, so I don't have to count with ands. Just count 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I were writing the counting, beat 1 would happen underneath that chord. Every measure, beat 1. Beat 2 and 3 happen during that left hand G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beat 4 happens on the next G. So if I were to play these hands together, my left hand plays G all the way until measure 8. And then it plays C. And then it goes back to G all the way until the end in C. So the two notes the left hand plays, I'm in C position. Left hand plays G, thumb, C, pinky. So I'm going to go ahead and play this whole song hands together. Now as far as practicing this is concerned, I did kind of a breakdown. Listening is always a good idea, but then you can use this recording and you can just listen to one line at a time. You can go back. You can try playing just your left hand with the recording. You can try playing just the right hand with the recording. It's one of the benefits of doing this, honestly. You can go back and revisit. So I'm just going to go all the way through. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down to C, right hand to G, 1, 2, 3, 4, back down to C in the right, D flat, sounds kind of funny, E, So, if you have any questions with how to do this, please let me know. As our music gets longer and harder, it's expected that you're going to need to work in sections. I don't expect you to get this perfect the first time, so be smart about your practice. You know, one day focus on the right hand, one day focus on the left, start putting it together, reach out if you need help, and on Wednesday we'll start talking about the final project. I hope you have a great day.